Welcome back. We got a whole new unit, Unit 3. All right, and it's all about standing up for what matters. So, the first, opening story of it is freedom of the press. All right, so let's get into it. Yes. Just a note as we're going through these slides and these activities. Usually, when you hear piano, so oftentimes it's going to be my beautiful piano playing. But when it's not, we're going to be using this. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of background on the music you're hearing. All right. And if you take a look at the orange down there, you know that the first word that you're going to read as a class is display. So this is Grieg's Piano Concerto in A minor, and it's an ode to a Scandinavian summer. Let's go ahead and read a little bit about this. The adagio is where and let me play the music while I'm reading this, all right? So don't pause it, whoever's working a computer, Mr. Surface, all right? You just got this in the background because this is what we're describing. The adagio is where Grieg's talents are really on melancholy and longing without being stayed. The of the second movement, again, the lower strings playing in their upper registers, aching, yearning. The doesn't return until 2 full minutes in. And when it does, it's hesitant, as if trying out a few before sticking to just one. There's a bit of between the orchestra and the soloist, but it's slow and easy, like having a long while sitting stretched out on a patch of grass. No doubt there are sparks of and surprise, but I'm in awe of how this portion of the concerto is. All right. So when you hear that music, that's what it is. That's where it's coming from. So let's get into it. So, essential question, slide 3. When is it right to take a stand? Well, what are some words in these two different word clouds? And let me tell you a little something about these word clouds too. All right. This one here, the hand, and I'd like you to outline it real quick. That's the entire unit, right? So the hand, sort of making a fist, right? Is all of the things we're going to read put into one word cloud. So the biggest thing that we're going to talk about the most are ideas, with evidence and argument sort of in second place, right? We're going to be talking about a band. What could a band be, right? Different text, different rights that people have, word choices, different peoples, right? So those are some of the big words from this total unit. On this other side, and I'd like you to circle it in orange, it's meant to look like a newspaper. I'm not sure it quite looks like one, but we're doing our best. All right. That is just the article that this one focuses on. So all the words from the newspaper one are there on the left. However, it's more concentrated on one article on the right. So it's just one. Oop, forgot to make it orange. There we are. Okay. Right? So on this side, that's all of Unit 3. And on this side, it's one text. Right? So what are some of the bigger words that you see there on the right? I'd like you to highlight a few and to take about 30 seconds to look at it and highlight some of the bigger words that you notice in that right-hand side newspaper word cloud. Go ahead. All right. So here's a guiding prompt. And especially with this unit, it's good to keep these TDA prompts in the foreground of your brain. So just tap your forehead real quick. Tap, tap. Tap your forehead again real quick. Tap, tap, right? forehead, foreground, in the front. So when I say we're going to foreground the prompt, I mean we're going to try to keep it in the front of our brain. Prompt. A claim is an opinion, and at the end of freedom of the press, it is claimed that students should not be censored in high school because that's when they should be exposed to as much information as possible. Write an essay analyzing this claim and use the text to support your answer. So, what I'd like you to do, and you can put both of these red dots on stop, the little stop signs that tell cars to stop because kids are getting on a bus. I'd like you to find two important words from that prompt and to put those red dots on those two important words. Take about 30 seconds to do so now. Absolutely gorgeous. Perfect. So, slide 5. Let's go ahead and get started on the article that this word cloud was representative of. All right. We can draw on it too. How fun. So, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution gives newspapers, magazines, and other publications the right to print whatever they see fit without interference from the government. The framers of the Constitution felt that a free press is vital to a democratic society. This important idea breaks down when schools are involved. As it turns out, there is a difference between free press and high school newspapers. All right? So, the second paragraph gives us our specific way of attacking the big ideas in the first paragraph. So, let's highlight the big ideas in the first paragraph. First Amendment, big idea, U.S. Constitution, big concept, right? Freedom of the press, which includes newspapers, magazines, and other publications, right? Print, whatever they see fit, without interference from the government. That is key. That is key. Without interference from the government, right? That's why we have a constitution to constrain our government. The framers of the Constitution felt that a free press is a vital to a democratic society. Okay, right? Now, switch it over to blue. This important idea breaks down, right? The important idea of free press breaks down when schools are involved. In other words, the school that you're sitting on is not as free a place or institution or spot to be in as other spots in America. As it turns out, there's a difference between free press and high school newspapers. Take a moment to make your screen look like mine. Noise. So, the difference is technical. The First Amendment prevents the government from censoring the press. However, private publishers can censor whatever they want, since schools and school districts pay the student newspapers' publication costs. They are private publishers. This means that they can edit information as they see fit. They can even refuse to publish some articles. This is a tough lesson for budding journalists, some of whom have challenged the restrictions. One case even made it to the Supreme Court in Hazelwood School District versus Kolheimer. Let's break that down a little bit. A quick note. You're going to drag these different icons. The two red dots, as we did previously, will be dragged to the prompt, right? Two important words in the prompt. The purple dots will be dragged to the text. That means words, right? Letters forming words, text. The orange dot will be placed on a visual. There won't always be a visual available, but oftentimes there will be. So let's give it a shot. All right, looks like we've got our red dots, right? We know that these two dots, we're going to put them right next to the prompt for now. These two red dots, they will go on two important words from the prompt. Okay? Next, please grab these two purple dots. Put them next to this sort of, you've already read the text up there, but put them next to the text up there. They will be going there in either paragraph 3 or 4. And then finally, you're going to choose what you think is a good image to go with what you've read, or to go with the prompt rather. All right, so you can put this orange dot right above this little newspaper clip. Okay, so let's go ahead and take it one color at a time, one text at a time. All right, let's start with the prompt. Please take a moment. Let's reread the prompt and then find two important words. A claim is an opinion, and at the end of the freedom of the press, it is claimed that students should not be censored in high school because that's when they should be exposed to as much information as possible. Write an essay analyzing this claim and use the text to support your answer. Please find the two most important words in that prompt now. Nice. Now we're going to find two parts of the text in blue, for lack of a better word, to match the prompt on the left. So we're going to find two parts that we think match the prompt on the left. Let's reread this real quick. The difference is technical. The First Amendment prevents the government from censoring the press. However, private publishers can censor whatever they want. Since schools and school districts pay the students' newspapers' publication costs, they are private publishers. This means that they can edit information as they see fit. They can even refuse to publish some articles. This is a tough lesson for budding journalists, some of whom have challenged the restrictions. One case even made it to the Supreme Court in Hazelwood School District versus Kohlmeyer. I'd like you to find two parts of the green text here with these purple dots. And I'd like you to find two parts that you feel help answer that prompt or address the prompt. Please do so now. Excellent. Now, finally, we're going to choose the best picture that you feel helps to address the prompt. What picture helps to best address the prompt there on the left? Please take the time to do so now. Yes. Yes. Good job, everybody. So that's how we're keeping the prompt in the foreground. Here are the facts. In 1983, the year Mr. Surface was born, students at Hazelwood High, a public high school near St. Louis, Missouri, saw two pages missing from their school newspaper, The Spectrum. They found out that the principal, Robert Reynolds, had removed two of the articles after finding them unfit for publication. One article about teen pregnancy contained interviews with pregnant students whose names were changed. The other article dealt with divorce. Principal Reynolds said the pregnancy article was not appropriate for a high school audience. He was also concerned that the girls' identities would have been revealed eventually in such a small school. His problem with the divorce article was that it was not fair and balanced. He felt it criticized parents without providing their side of the story. Some students were outraged and sued the school. They argued that the issue was not the content of the articles, but whether or not the school had the right to suppress them. Let's break that part down too, just like we did last time. Red dots go on the prompt, purple dots go on the text, and the orange dot goes on the visual. Let's get the prompt again. A claim is an opinion at the end of freedom of the press. It is claimed that students should not be censored in high school because that's when they should be exposed to as much information as possible. Write an essay analyzing this claim and use the text to support your answer. Take care of the red now, please. Excellent. Now, Principal Reynolds said the pregnancy article was not appropriate for a high school audience. He was also concerned that the girls' identities would have been revealed eventually in such a small school. His problem with the divorce article was that it was not fair and balanced. He felt it criticized parents without providing their side of the story. Some students were outraged and sued the school. They argued that the issue was not the content of the articles, but whether or not the school had the right to suppress them. Please take a moment and move your purple dots to two parts of paragraph 6 and 7 that help address the prompt on the left. Now, look at those two different pictures. They both kind of match the content of paragraph 6 and 7, but I'm more interested in which do you think helps to give more ideas for the prompt? What helps you to think about or address the prompt best? Please choose a picture with the orange dot now. All right. In 1988, the Supreme Court ruled 5-3 in favor of the school. This is slide 14. The ruling said that while students do not shed their First Amendment rights at the schoolhouse gate, no school should tolerate activities inconsistent with its basic educational mission. In other words, when student expression is school sponsored, it can be censored as long as those doing the censoring have valid educational reasons. The law now varies from state to state. States that disagree with parts of the ruling have their own laws that govern students' freedom of expression. We are now left with these critical questions. Is it fair for some students to have greater freedom of speech in their high school newspapers when others are subjected to censorship? I think they mean come from state to state. And what does this situation say about us as a society and a nation? The framers of the Constitution believed that if governments could censor opinions they did not like, the public would be less educated. Given that schools are places of education, it seems counterproductive to limit students' free speech. The more opinions students are exposed to, the better equipped they will be to handle the issues they will face later in life. Let's break it down one last time with our red, purple, and orange dots. Please take a moment and put your two red dots on the two most important words in the prompt there to the left. Please do so now. Now, please get your two purple dots. You can put them right under number 10 if you need some place to put them. They're underneath the umbrella right now. And I want you to find two parts of paragraph 10 that you feel help to address the prompt there on the left. Please do so now. And finally, we've got our orange dot here. Which of those two pictures do you think better fits the prompt on the left? Take the time to do so now. All right, excellent work. So let's break down the prompt a little bit more now that we've read the full article. Wahoo! A claim is an opinion at the end of the freedom of the press. So let's go ahead and highlight some of the words that got consistently chosen as important words as we were reading along and reviewing the prompt. Let's get claim and opinion. At the end of freedom of the press, it is claimed, there's claim a third time, that students should not be censored. Censored seemed like an important word in high school because that's when they should be exposed to as much information as possible. Write an essay analyzing this claim, right? So we know we'll be talking about the word claim or any synonyms for claim a lot. So I see over here the word opinions, for example, right? So I'm going to highlight opinions. I'd like you to find some other words that you feel help inform this prompt, some other words that you should be using in your writing when you address this prompt in your essay. Please take the time to highlight at least, and let's do this in orange, please, to highlight at least 4 more words. Those of you without a computer today, you're looking at the screen either at your group or up here on the video, and you're finding 4 words that you feel are worth highlighting as well. Please take a little bit of time to highlight those 4 words or write down those 4 words if you don't have a computer now. Excellent. So here's an example of a body paragraph, right? It's not an introduction and 3 body paragraphs and a conclusion. It's not the full essay because that's not what this class is about. It's not about giving you an essay. It's about giving you the tools to help you write your own essays. So take a look. The prompt is at the top in blue. We've read it so many times we want to throw up. And then underneath is a body paragraph, the way that I've taught you in 7th and now in 8th grade how to write a TDA. Each TDA should have a topic sentence and a quote and an explanation of that quote at minimum, but we do so much more. So let's go ahead and get into it. Switch your highlighters over to yellow, and I'm going to ask that you follow along with me and make the same annotations that I do. The claim seems weak according to the testimony of the high school principal, right? So they're asking you to analyze this claim. The analysis is it's a weak claim. The claim, there's that word claim, right? Which is also up here so many times in the prompt. The claim seems weak according to the testimony of the high school principal. All right. So already we've got a high school principal over here. Okay. And we've got someone shouting out an opinion. That's a claim. So we've got them both right here. I'm going to draw a little line, the high school principal to there. The writers at the Hazelwood High School wanted to publish 2 articles in the paper. One was about teen pregnancy. And switch to blue, circle the pregnant teen over here, and there's teen pregnancy there, with interviews with pregnant teens in the school. And other one was about divorce. Then we've got what the principal said. So let's go back to yellow. Principal Reynolds said the pregnancy article was not appropriate for a high school audience. He was also concerned with the girls' identities would have been revealed eventually in such a small school. This realistic concern shows the broad mindedness of the principal, right? Broad minded is definitely different than weak. So the claim in the article is not the same claim that the principal is making. They're two different things, they're two different opinions. The principal says we should censor, the end of the article says we should not. If he had just let the article be printed, then the real world consequences could have impacted the naive interviewees. So let's go ahead, and there's the censored paper there, and there's the interviewee, the pregnant teen. This important balancing of potential harms is different than the insensitive claim that all information should be thrust upon adolescents in high school, right? In other words, thinking about that cause and effect. I'm going to get that whole last sentence where they say this important claim. Please take a moment to make your screen look like this one. Okay. So on slide 20 is a graphic organizer. Some people call them knowledge constructors, and some people call them outlines. But there's the same prompt at the top, right? And a thesis and a body paragraph 1, 2, and 3, and a conclusion. So to be clear, right, we have already looked at a body paragraph that said the claim was weak because of the principal's testimony. Testimony. Okay. And then it proceeded to give information from him and his concerns, right? So there was a quote, and then there was a 3-sentence explanation, right? So the thesis is probably going to maintain that the claim is weak. But in the other body paragraphs, what will have to be done is they'll have to look for more support, right? And then again, in this body paragraph, more support. Okay? That means in the thesis, the principal's testimony is one body paragraph, but it'll have to have a second and third quote from the story in separate paragraphs. And then this same information will go down here, right? That analyzing the claim, and then, 3 quotes. Okay? You can take a moment to make your screen look a little bit more like mine, or what might even be better is you could take the time to make this outline work for you, to find some quotes you could put there, right? The thesis is the god of your essay. It tells you what all the other paragraphs will be about, but then come up with a a topic sentence rather for each of these 3. Your topic sentence is like the president of your paragraph. It tells everything in that particular paragraph what it should be about. And then a conclusion is just God repeating himself or itself or herself or themselves. All right. So take a moment, please. and make your screen look a little something like Mr. Services, but feel free to add your own quotes and information and opinions too. There we go. So you would write your 5 paragraph essay there, and then we go on. It is likely you'll be writing your TDA on paper, and they'll have these little guide foldables to help you break that information down. Thanks for doing such a great job, everybody.